Hey loves, this Lizzo situation is getting worse by the minute, and we really need to talk about it because it looks like she has more skeletons in the closet than you could imagine. And y'all, even Beyonce hit Lizzo with an I don't know her. Could this be the end of Lizzo's career? We have known Lizzo as a musical powerhouse, a model of grace, and a fierce champion of body positivity. In contrast, you guys, what we thought we knew about her might not be the whole story. Everything has turned upside down for Lizzo after being sued by not one, not two, but three of her former dancers, and y'all, the details of this lawsuit are wild. Allegations of fat shaming, sexual harassment, Lizzo. But that's not all, loves. The skeletons keep coming out of the closet. While only 3 ladies have taken legal action against Lizzo, the plot keeps thickening, and now more people are stepping forward to share their own unsettling experiences about working with Lizzo. Someone else has also accused Lizzo of stealing her video ideas. I actually saw this coming because you know the drill, guys. It always takes just one scandal to make room for others to voice their own encounters with the same individual. I hesitated to cover Lizzo's story because I knew there would soon be more revelations. Anyways, loves, now that we're armed with all the details, I'm gonna need you to buckle up as we're about to delve into some seriously controversial territory. I took a crazy amount of time to read through this 44-page lawsuit just to bring you accurate information and leave no stone unturned, y'all, and it's not looking good. Let's start with the lawsuit. Lizzo, whose real name is Melissa Jefferson, along with her dance team captain, Charlene Quigley, and her company, Big Girl Big Touring Inc., BGBT, have been served. The legal dispute is from 3 of her former dancers, Crystal Williams, Ariana Davis, and Noelle Rodriguez. This lawsuit levels very serious allegations, citing claims of sexual harassment, a hostile work environment, religious harassment, racial harassment, disability harassment, and intentionally taking advantage of dancers. These ladies first met Lizzo in 2021 when they competed on Lizzo's reality show, Watch Out for the Big Girls, WOFTBG, which was released on Amazon Prime Video. After successfully completing the contest, they joined Lizzo's group of dancers, and their jobs included joining Lizzo during her live performances and tours. In the lawsuit, Ariana Davis recorded her first violation claim as an unlawful breach of her confidential information. As per standard company policy, she was required to do several psychological tests to ensure she was mentally okay to endure the nature of the job. During these tests, Ariana Davis disclosed that she struggles with anxiety and depression, occasionally resulting in binge eating. Ariana was made to sign a document that allowed the psychologist to share her private information with Lizzo and the BGBT production team, and she believes that this happened. As much as she kind of sort of consented to this, the information wasn't supposed to be shared unless necessary, but that wasn't the case. Even making her sign off her right to confidentiality was already very problematic in and of itself. The second record of violations is about an unhealthy work environment. Guys, imagine these dancers were not allowed to do other work besides Lizzo's. Crystal Williams mentioned an incident in which she got another one-day job opportunity that in no way would interfere with her routine with Lizzo, and that the rehearsals for these 2 jobs were running simultaneously. Crystal Williams said that even though Lizzo's rehearsals got postponed when she approached Miss Gugliotta, Lizzo's tour manager, to discuss this other one-day job, Miss Gugliotta asked her, "Do you want the job or not?" Her response implied that if Crystal wanted to keep her place as a tour dancer for Lizzo, she couldn't take any positions elsewhere. The filming for Watch Out for the Big Girls show started in August 2021, and loves, according to these 3 dancers, things just kept getting worse and worse. It was on this set that these ladies met Charlene Quigley, the dance team captain and instructor for the show, who now has a case to answer regarding religious harassment. The ladies said that Charlene used every opportunity to preach and try to convert them to Christianity to the point where it got too uncomfortable. Charlene took a particular interest in Ariana Davis after assuming they shared a Christian identity. During the filming, Charlene kind of discovered that Ariana Crystal was a virgin, which for some reason fascinated her to the point that it was literally the only thing she talked about. The lawsuit reads, also during filming, shocking. Miss Quigley discovered that Miss Davis was a virgin, and Miss Davis's virginity became a topic of extreme importance to Miss Quigley. In the months to follow, Miss Quigley would routinely bring up Miss Davis's virginity in conversations with Miss Davis. She even mentioned the virginity in interviews and later posted it on social media, broadcasting an intensely personal detail about Miss Davis to the world. Miss Davis never gave Miss Quigley permission to share this private detail about her life. You must be wondering why they never asked her to stop the religious harassment and explicit remarks, right? Well, they did. And one time during the tour, Noelle Rodriguez had enough of Charlene and was bold enough to ask her to stop forcing her religion on her. But Charlene got so upset at Noelle to the point of yelling at her. She even said, "No job and no one will stop me from talking about the Lord." Whew. Okay, moving on. The three dancers have also included several accounts of Charlene's unsolicited sermons about sexuality. Charlene often made demeaning comments about sex before marriage, even though other cast members were not of the same opinion. She would even demonstrate certain things in an explicit way in front of the crew, which made them super uncomfortable. But she kept doing it and kept calling it a party trick. And one last documented ugly incident in the lawsuit about her is that despite being so loud about her beliefs on intimacy before marriage, she used to share some experiences of her own with the crew, and y'all, when I tell you, she would get into some details. And in case you're wondering how one person in the team can be such a nuisance, this pattern usually only happens when the rest of the management is also involved in one way or another. Of course, this level of overstepping would have been uncomfortable for anyone, so Noelle took her concerns to the assistant choreographer, Melissa Charlotte. Miss Charlotte showed empathy, but only suggested that Noelle talk to Charlene directly, as if she hadn't already expressed her discomfort to Charlene from day one. Like, seriously, it is beyond frustrating. This takes me back to my initial point. Charlene could only get away with so much because the management turned a blind eye to the plight of these dancers, or maybe most of them were also taking advantage of them. And y'all, the lawsuit confirmed this. There were incidents with two tour bus drivers where one played extremely inappropriate, explicit music, while the other made sexually provocative remarks towards Crystal Williams when she accidentally brushed up against her. But Charlene Quigley now has taken to Instagram, where she wrote a long post denying all the accusations against her. However, she didn't get the kind of support that she thought she would from her followers. If anything, they called her out more. Many people believed the dancers because if you check out Charlene's page, she's all about Bible verses, preaching, and more preaching, so maybe she might have tried this with the dance crew. Guys, this lawsuit mirrors the sad reality of dancers, where sometimes they're forced to dress or do particular things that they'd otherwise never dare. For instance, Lizzo's dancers were made to participate in a nude photo shoot. While some dancers seemed okay with that, others, like Crystal Davis, were uncomfortable with these demands, especially because anyone with access to Amazon Prime Video would see them. Crystal Davis was stuck between a rock and a hard place because as much as she wasn't comfortable exposing her nudity, she also knew the implications of refusing to participate because this activity was part of the competition. A refusal would mean being sent home and no longer being considered for a spot on Lizzo's dance team. And it reached a point where she started experiencing anxiety at the thought of exposing her body. She literally broke down and cried on set and was later allowed to participate partially clothed in a nude bra and underwear. This just goes to show you how these ladies were extremely objectified and sexualized against their wishes. Also, y'all, while I was going through this case, I noticed a strange pattern of Lizzo and her management's obsession with nudity and explicit content. You know what, guys? Some things should remain private because they'll always come back to bite you. Like this interview where Lizzo shared personal things she had no business telling us.
They kissed after, I'm not gonna say what she did, but I'm trying to go to the show where you eat the banana out the, which one is that?
This is the banana bar.
That's the banana bar?
Yeah, you
and they have the banana in the coochie?
And ping pong balls.
And you have to go.
Yes. And
that's what I want to do.
Then you have to eat it.
I need my potassium, if you know what I'm saying. My poos potassium.
Which brings us to the next accusation. The dancers talked about two occasions when Lizzo invited them to an after party in Amsterdam and Paris, but left out very vital information that these venues would be notorious for full display nudity and adult toys. Again, remember that these invitations were literally coercions, because if you failed to attend, you wouldn't be in Lizzo's good books, which meant your job was on the line. In these nightclubs, they were forced to engage in activities like touching the nude performers members without their consent. And finally, to the most shocking allegation in this lawsuit. Lizzo is being accused of body shaming plus-sized dancers of color. This one has literally sent the internet ablaze. For someone who has built her entire brand around body positivity and placed herself at the forefront of advocating for the rights of plus-size people in the music industry and beauty industry, this one right here is stranger than fiction. And on top of all that, Lizzo is also accused of racial discrimination. Guys, I can't. So, towards the end of the Europe tour, these dancers submitted a request for BGBT and Lizzo for a 50% retainer of their weekly tour rate to ensure that they'd get paid even while on break. And the management wasn't pleased with this. Remember, these dancers weren't allowed to take on jobs and they had to strictly focus on Lizzo and BGBT. Even their agents were asked to place them on a soft hold, which meant holding off on any other work engagements during the tour. And get this, they were the only ones not on a retainer. The accountant, Miss Joshi, responded by offering only a 25% retainer, which was half of what they had asked for. It also seemed like the management got pissed off because these ladies got even worse treatment from then on. In the response email, Miss Joshi scolded them for an unacceptable and disrespectful behavior on tour and even threatened them with termination. Miss Joshi never explained what these unacceptable and disrespectful behaviors were. Plus, she only brought this up when the dancers asked for a retainer, which everyone else was already getting. The lawsuit categorically states only the dance cast, comprised of full-figured women of color, were ever spoken to in this manner, giving plaintiffs the impression that these comments were charged with racial and fatphobic animus. Back in the US, they were once again put on a soft hold, meaning they couldn't take other jobs. Fortunately, this time they managed to get a 50% retainer, but it soon became clear that the management was so pissed that they started lashing out on the dancers for any slight inconvenience or sometimes for no reason at all. The case reads, specifically, BGBT management treated the black members of the dance team differently than the other members. BGBT management's team consisted almost entirely of white Europeans who often accused the black members of the dance team of being lazy, unprofessional, and having bad attitudes. Lizzo and the management allegedly started harassing them and always dangling their jobs as a reminder that they could be fired anytime. They were even made to re-audition, where they were forced to be on stage for 12 hours straight. Guys, not even a bathroom break. Ariana Davis literally peed on herself while on stage since she was afraid of excusing herself. That is the level of hostility these dancers were subjected to. Lizzo also kept accusing them of drinking alcohol before shows, and when it was determined that none of them had ever drunk, instead of issuing an apology, Lizzo responded mockingly saying, "Well, if you're not, then good for y'all. Maybe the accusations of drinking before shows are due to your poor performance." If these allegations are true, then these dancers have been to hell and back. Ariana Williams also talked about Lizzo and the choreographer Scott calling her privately and grilling her for not being as bubbly as she used to be, implying that she was getting fatter. Crystal Williams' contract was unceremoniously terminated in the hotel lobby they were staying in. These examples are just the tip of the iceberg in the lawsuit. And if we were to delve into every nitty-gritty, this would be an endless journey. In a nutshell, this lawsuit accuses Lizzo, her management, and the company of extreme levels of harassment and control. Not long after these three courageous dancers initiated the lawsuit, their attorney verified that he's been contacted by 6 additional Lizzo employees. Each of them attested to the truth of the claims regarding Lizzo creating a highly toxic work environment for her employees, and even before the dust settled, someone else came forward with yet another shocking allegation that has put Lizzo's music career and entire profession into question. This daring dancer, named El Baez, came forward on TikTok and pointed a finger at none other than Lizzo. What is the accusation, you ask? Well, y'all, she's spilling the beans that Lizzo allegedly stole not one, but 2 music video ideas from her very own creative pool.
This is a story I never intended to tell because I'm the biggest Lizzo fan. I worship the ground that she walked on. But it's been 2 years now, and I've held this in for so long, and I feel like I just want to get it off my chest with everything else coming out right now in the media. And you can take whatever I say and make your own decision on it. I'm just going to tell you the facts. and my story.
Elle Baez revealed that she was in the casting process for Watch Out for the Big Girls Season 1, and she made it all the way through to the finals. This is where the problem started, guys. Elle ran the agreement through her lawyer, who advised her not to sign it, because it would mean Lizzo's team would own her. When Elle expressed concern to Lizzo's team, they said that all the other dancers had signed the same document and they couldn't exempt her because that would imply that she was getting more special treatment than the rest. So Elle had no choice but to back down. Remember, guys, she had already sent some of her work during the audition, which included 2 of her original songs. One of her songs was titled Better With You, while the other was titled Paint Me. This is where things got interesting, loves. In one of her video clips, she turned a classroom into a disco. And in April 2022, guess who drops a music video with the same concept as Elle's original work? You guessed right, Lizzo.
In this clip from my video, Better With You, I'm in a detention classroom, and I turned this classroom into a disco. We're in the 1970s here, yes. We got the disco ball, I got my dancers behind me, we are doing our thing, you get the vibes here. Then Lizzo drops About Damn Time. We are in a classroom, this is April 2022, that she turns into a disco. And of course, she has a way bigger budget than me. Here she is with her dancers doing their thing with the disco ball. We're in the 70s. And of course, when I saw this, I was just a little bit confused.
Of course, she was shocked at the glaring similarities, but brushed the whole thing off as a coincidence. But Lizzo did not stop there, because she later dropped a new album which had a song called Naked in 2022. And once again, y'all, Lizzo had copied Elle's video from her song called Paint Me, which is one of the works she had shared with Lizzo's team. Elle said that the theme for the song was body positivity, and she displayed the concept by projecting paintings on her body. As Lizzo performed her song Naked live on tour, she had paintings projected on her body.
Then Lizzo was dropping her new album, and on her new album there was a song called Naked. This is my body positive song, Paint Me, from 2020. It's inspired by Titanic, and it's about your body being a beautiful work of art, especially when it's naked. And I projected all of these paintings onto my body to show that and portray it in the video. And I sent this to Lizzo's team for review. And Lizzo dropped Naked in 2022 on her new album, and when she performs it live on tour, she wears a nude bodysuit and projects paintings onto her body. Yo, is this like Paint Me? And I was just like, that is so weird. So, a lot of weird coincidences.
What are the odds that these 2 cases were mere coincidences? Elle's story gained over 8 million views, and people outrightly agreed with her that Lizzo used her concepts without giving her credit or compensation. It looks like the lawsuit held some truth, because more and more people within the entertainment industry have come out with their own stories about Lizzo's unpleasant personality, and even confirmed that working with Lizzo was one of their worst nightmares. Filmmaker Sophia Nahili Allison, who once walked away from directing Lizzo's documentary, had this to say. I usually do not comment on anything pop culture related, but in 2019, I traveled a bit with Lizzo to be the director of her documentary. I walked away after about 2 weeks. I was treated with such disrespect by her. I witnessed how arrogant, self-centered, and unkind she is. Sophia said that the work environment was so toxic and always gaslit that she was never protected at all. So she decided to opt out of the project for the sake of her mental sanity. Courtney Hollenquist, formerly in Lizzo's dance crew, wrote this on her Instagram story. Big shout out to the dancers who had the courage to bring this to light. Lizzo's former creative director, Quinn Wilson, reposted Hollenquist's story and added, I haven't been a part of that world for around 3 years for a reason. I very much applaud the dancers' courage to bring this to light. And I grieve parts of my own experience. I'd appreciate space to understand my feelings. Wilson's girlfriend, pop singer King Princess, backed Wilson on Instagram. My girlfriend is not only my family, she is a dedicated creative who tirelessly works to support the art/artists she believes in. I have watched her be underpaid, undervalued, and deeply mistreated firsthand by people who have more fiscal and social power than her. And y'all, it looks like even Beyonce joined the conversation, and during a recent show on the Renaissance tour, she apparently deliberately left out Lizzo's name in the lyrics.
Originally, the song's lyrics were Betty Davis, Solange Knowles, Badu, Lizzo, Kelly Roll. But instead, Beyonce sang Betty Davis, Solange Knowles, Badu, Badu, Badu.
But, you know, we can't end this without hearing what Lizzo has to say, right? Here's what she posted on her Instagram. Of course, people have mixed reactions. Some are on her side, while others are mad beyond reason. Here are some of the comments from both ends. People are not having any any of it, guys. We can't really tell if these revelations will lead to Lizzo being canceled completely, but one thing is for sure, Lizzo's career is hanging by a thread. Even though the hearing is scheduled for early next year, Lizzo is already feeling the pinch because one of her concerts has already been canceled. The organizers of MIA took to Instagram to announce that the show will no longer be taking place, citing severe circumstances outside of the production control. They may not say it directly, but this obviously has to do with the Lizzo situation because she was supposed to headline the show. But what are your thoughts on all of this, loves? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll keep you posted on any new developments on this case. Also, don't forget to click on the tab for more videos on these celebrities and influencers.